Oh honey, we forgot our wallet. My in-laws laughed out loud when the restaurant brought a 3-0 bill. But their laughter stopped when I called the waiter over and quietly said. Madison's stomach dropped the second Beverly started that laugh. You know the one, that fake surprised giggle that sounds like fingernails on a chalkboard. Yeah, that one. She was doing it right there in Le Bernardin's main dining room, and Madison could already feel every other diner turning to stare. Oh my goodness, Harold. Beverly was practically gasping between giggles. You're not going to believe this, but we totally forgot our wallets. The waiter, this poor kid who'd been nothing but professional all evening, was standing there with the leather bill folder, and Madison could see his smile getting tighter by the second. She'd been watching Beverly all night, ordering like she was feeding a small army. The $72 sea base, the $40 appetizer, the wine that cost more than Madison's car payment. Trevor looked confused, poor guy. What do you mean forgot? And that's when Madison noticed Harold wasn't even trying to look surprised. We rushed out so fast for our anniversary dinner with you kids, Beverly gushed, still with that awful laugh. Left both our wallets sitting right on the kitchen counter. Madison caught the waiter's eye and saw him glance at the bill, then back at their table. $3,047. She knew because she'd been sneaking peeks at the prices all night, getting more and more horrified with each course Beverly ordered. Trevor was already reaching for his wallet. God, her husband was such a good guy, it actually hurt sometimes. Don't worry about it, Mom, we've got you covered. But Madison was remembering Christmas, and the wedding deposit incident, and that time Beverly needed emergency grocery money the same week she posted Instagram photos from some fancy spa weekend. Her phone was in her purse, and suddenly Madison was very grateful for her habit of screenshotting everything. Some people called her paranoid. Tonight, they'd call her prepared. Trevor opened his wallet, and Madison watched his face go through about 5 different emotions in 2 seconds. She knew exactly what he was seeing, maybe $300 in cash and their credit card that was already maxed from the move. Trevor's voice got that strangled quality it always got when he was embarrassed. I'm not sure I have enough cash on me. Beverly's laugh got even shriller. Oh, sweetie, just put it on your card. It's not like it's real money anyway. Not real money. Madison felt something cold settle in her chest. $3,000 wasn't real money to Beverly, but it was 2 months of Madison working double shifts at the urgent care clinic. It was their entire savings account plus some. The waiter was trying to be diplomatic, but Madison could see other servers starting to hover. This was about to become a scene, and not the good kind. Actually, Madison said, and her voice came out steadier than she felt, there might be a small problem with that plan. Harold's whole demeanor shifted. The jolly father-in-law mask slipped just enough for Madison to see something calculating underneath. What kind of problem, dear? Madison pulled out her phone, taking her time about it. Well, I was just thinking about something you said at Trevor's birthday party. About how you never leave home without emergency cash because you never know when someone might try to take advantage. The silence that followed was interesting. Beverly's laugh cut off like someone had hit a mute button. I'm sure we can figure something out, Trevor said quickly, and Madison's heart broke a little at how desperate he sounded to fix this for everyone. But she was already scrolling through her photos, finding exactly what she needed. 6 months of marriage to Trevor meant 6 months of watching his parents operate, and Madison was nothing if not thorough when something didn't add up. You know what's funny? Madison kept her voice conversational, like they were discussing the weather. I have this photo from your Instagram last week, Beverly. The one where you're showing off that new Prada bag? She held up her phone, showing Beverly's own post, a mirror selfie with the caption, Harold spoiled me again, grateful, blessed, Prada baby. Beverly went white under her foundation. That was different. Different how? Madison tilted her head like she was genuinely curious. Different because it was your money that time? The waiter cleared his throat softly. Madison could tell he was trying to figure out if he should call his manager or just wait this out. That's very kind of you to wait. Madison smiled at him. This shouldn't take much longer. Trevor was looking between Madison and his parents like he was watching a tennis match. Madison, what's going on? She reached over and took his hand. I'm doing what we promised we'd do for each other, honey. I'm watching your back. Harold leaned forward, and his voice got that threatening tone Madison had heard him use on service workers. Now, you listen here. No, Harold, you listen. Madison's voice didn't get louder, but something in it made him sit back. I've been keeping track of these little memory lapses of yours. Want to know what they've cost us? She switched to her notes app, where she'd been documenting every incident since their third month of marriage. $2,368 in 6 months. Beverly's mouth fell open. Around them, Madison could feel other diners pretending not to eavesdrop while absolutely eavesdropping. That's not, we never asked you to pay for anything, Beverly stammered. You're absolutely right, Madison nodded. You never asked. You just created situations where Trevor felt obligated to step in, because that's what good sons do, right? They rescue their parents from their own carelessness. She could see the exact moment Trevor started putting the pieces together. His grip on her hand tightened, and she watched understanding dawn across his face. Harold was turning red now. We raised that boy to respect his family, not to let his wife disrespect us. Respect? Madison actually laughed, and it wasn't a nice sound. Is it respectful to order the most expensive thing on the menu when someone else is paying? Is it respectful to conveniently forget your wallet at a $3,000 dinner? The waiter stepped closer, clearly torn between professional courtesy and the need to resolve this situation. Madison turned to the waiter with her warmest smile. I'm so sorry about this. Could you give us just one more minute? Of course, ma'am, he said, and she could hear the relief in his voice. She turned back to Harold, and her smile disappeared. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to reach into that inside jacket pocket where you keep your emergency credit card. Harold went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. The American Express black card you used yesterday to pay your country club membership, Madison continued calmly. The one you posted about on Facebook with that picture of you and your golf buddies. Beverly looked like she was going to be sick. Trevor, honey, surely you don't believe. Mom. Trevor's voice was quiet but final. Just stop, please. The way Trevor said that one word, stop, it was like watching someone finally stand up straight after carrying a weight for too long. Madison felt a surge of pride watching her husband find his backbone. 6 months, Trevor said, his voice getting stronger. 6 months of Madison working doubles while I lay awake, wondering how we were going to make rent, because I kept bailing you out of situations that weren't actually emergencies. Harold tried one more time. Son, family helps family. Family doesn't manipulate family, Trevor interrupted, and Madison had never loved him more than in that moment. Family doesn't create fake emergencies to avoid paying their own bills. Madison pulled out her small notebook, the one she'd started keeping when she realized Harold and Beverly's forgetfulness had a pattern. I have documentation of every incident. Every convenient lapse of memory. Every emergency that somehow required immediate financial assistance. Beverly's carefully maintained composure finally cracked. You've been spying on us? What kind of wife does that? The kind who pays attention. Madison said simply. The kind who notices when her husband starts losing sleep over money. The kind who picks up extra shifts to cover the shortfall your games create. She opened the notebook, and Harold's eyes widened at the pages of neat documentation. Dates, amounts, even printed screenshots. Did you know Beverly posted about her shopping spree the same day she called crying about not being able to afford her prescription medications? Trevor made a sharp sound, like someone had punched him in the gut. Madison watched him process this new information, saw the moment when months of guilt crystallized into clarity. Every time, he whispered, every single emergency, you had money. You just wanted me to pay instead. Your credit card, Harold. Madison said calmly. The black one. I know you have it because you used it this morning to buy gas for that boat you definitely can't afford if you're too broke to pay for dinner. Harold's hand moved toward his jacket before he could stop himself. Everyone saw it. I don't know what game you think you're playing, Beverly said, but her voice had lost all its earlier confidence. Madison leaned forward slightly. I'm not playing anything, Beverly. I'm exposing it. You've been financially abusing your own son, using his love and sense of duty to fund your lifestyle, while he works himself to death trying to keep us afloat. She turned to Trevor, her voice softening. Remember what you told me on our honeymoon? About how you wanted us to be a team against the world? Trevor nodded, his eyes bright. I remember. This is me being your teammate. Harold finally reached into his jacket with shaking hands and pulled out exactly what Madison knew would be there, a premium credit card that required significant income to qualify for. There, he said, slamming it on the table. Happy now? Madison picked up the card and handed it to the waiter. Extremely happy. And Harold, this is the last time you manipulate us into funding your entertainment. Beverly made one last desperate play. Trevor, sweetheart, we can work this out as a family. No, Trevor said, and his voice was steady and sure. Families don't lie to each other. Families don't steal from each other. Families don't manipulate each other's love to get what they want. Madison watched her husband transform in real time. The guilt-ridden people-pleaser was gone, replaced by someone who finally understood his own worth. The waiter came back with a receipt, and Harold signed it like he was signing a death warrant. Around them, the restaurant had settled back into its normal rhythm, but Madison caught a few approving nods from nearby tables. I hope you enjoyed your $3,000 meal, Madison said pleasantly, because it's the last one you'll trick us into paying for. Beverly's face was a mask of rage and humiliation. This isn't over. Trevor will see what you really are. Madison actually laughed, a real, genuinely amused sound. You're absolutely right. He will see exactly what I am. Someone who protects her family. Someone who doesn't let people take advantage of the man she loves. Trevor squeezed her hand. Someone I'm damn proud to be married to. Those simple words hit Beverly like a physical blow. She looked between them, finally understanding that her manipulation had completely backfired. Harold stood abruptly, his chair scraping the floor. We're leaving. Beverly, get your purse. Actually, Madison said, not bothering to stand, Trevor and I haven't finished our dessert yet, but don't let us keep you. The dismissal was crystal clear. Beverly looked at Trevor one last time, maybe hoping for some crack in his resolve she could exploit later, but Trevor's expression was calm and final. Goodbye, Mom, Dad. He didn't get up, didn't offer to walk them out, didn't make any of the apologetic gestures he'd been trained to make his whole life. When you're ready to have an honest relationship with us, you know where to find us. Harold grabbed Beverly's arm and practically dragged her toward the exit. Madison watched them go, noting how Beverly's shoulders were shaking, whether from rage or tears, she couldn't tell and didn't really care. The restaurant seemed to exhale as the tension finally lifted. Trevor stared at his barely touched tiramisu for a long moment after his parents left. Madison waited, understanding he needed time to process what had just happened. How long have you known? He finally asked. Known they were scamming us? About 2 months into our marriage? Madison said honestly. Known I needed to start documenting it? The third time your mom had a convenient emergency right after posting vacation photos on Facebook. Trevor's laugh was rueful. I thought I was hiding how stressed I was about money. Honey, you talk in your sleep. You kept apologizing to someone about not being able to help enough. Madison's voice was gentle. It was breaking my heart watching you blame yourself for not being able to afford their emergencies. He nodded slowly. The notebook, all those screenshots. You were building a case. I was getting ready for tonight, Madison confirmed. I knew eventually they'd overplay their hand. Trevor took a bite of the tiramisu they'd ordered to share. You know what's weird? This is the first meal with them I've actually enjoyed in years. Madison grinned. That's because you're not sitting there waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're not wondering what they're going to spring on us next. $3,000, Trevor shook his head. They really thought we'd just eat that cost without question. They've been training you to eat every cost without question your whole life, Madison pointed out. Tonight was just bigger than usual. Trevor was quiet again, but this time it felt different, thoughtful instead of tortured. I owe you an apology for not seeing it sooner, for putting you in that position. Madison shook her head. You don't owe me anything. You loved your parents and wanted to believe the best of them. That's not a character flaw. It's one of the things I fell in love with. And now? Now we move forward as actual partners, like we should have been doing all along. Walking out of that restaurant, Madison felt like she could breathe fully for the first time in months. The evening air was crisp and clean, washing away the stress of the confrontation. Trevor's hand in hers felt different, solid, equal, like a real partnership, instead of her constantly propping him up. "So, what happens now?" Trevor asked, as they reached their car. Madison thought about it. "Now we stick to our boundaries. We build the life we want without constantly having to budget for their schemes. We save for our own future instead of funding their present. They'll try to contact us." "Oh, definitely," Madison said with certainty. "Beverly will call crying within the week. Harold will try the angry father routine. When that doesn't work, they'll probably try to get your sister involved, make it about family loyalty and how I'm tearing the family apart." Trevor nodded, looking more resolved than she'd seen him in months. "And we'll handle it together." "Together," Madison agreed. Driving home through the city, Madison reflected on how sometimes love meant saying no. Sometimes it meant refusing to enable bad behavior, even when that behavior came from family. Sometimes protecting the people you loved meant protecting them from other people who claimed to love them too.